If you weren't aware. And my usual co-host is not here. We're on vacation, as I'm sure you can tell from the set. And we're in this hotel. And Water Fairy decided that she wanted to play the elevator game. I told her it was a bad idea, that we had other things to do, like filming this video, for example, but she decided to play it anyway. I haven't seen her since. It's been a while. I'm getting worried. But we need to get this video filmed. It is the 4th and final of this month. And for those of you just tuning in, we are doing a set where we take Harry Potter and put them into the Pokemon world. We make a new region. We give the pre-established characters teams of Pokemon. It was fun. The first video of the month was about the trainers, which includes Harry, Ron, Hermione, Ginny, Neville, Luna, Draco, and Fred and George. And the second video was the gym leaders. So we got Flitwick, McGonagall, Sprout, Snape, Hagrid, Lupin, Tonks, and Slughorn. That's not the actual order, it's just the order that I just remembered them in. Next up is the last video was with the Elite Four, the Champion, and the evil team, who we have named Team Death Eater. Not very inventive, but that's what we had. So the Elite Four is Moody, Bill Weasley, Sirius Black, and Kingsley Shacklebolt. The Champion is Albus Dumbledore, and then we've got the evil team led by Voldemort, obviously, with 3 lieutenants. Oh my god, you came back! I thought you were like dead or something.
No, but I did get trapped in the other world, I'm pretty sure.
That's not good. I told you it was a bad idea.
Oh, I didn't think it would work. Everyone else who tried it didn't end up in the other world. Just my luck.
Yeah. Alright, so I guess we'll continue with the video then. And the 3 lieutenants for Team Death Eater are Bellatrix Lestrange, Peter Pettigrew, and Lucius Malfoy. So we'll now go on to the story.
Okay. So, in this story, Harry has just moved to a new town.
As is the norm in these games.
And his neighbors are Ron, and Ron has his little sister Ginny, but she's too young to be a Pokemon trainer, so she's not going to be in the equation for a while.
His other neighbor is Hermione, and there's a third neighbor, but he's already left town, so we don't see him for a while. Now, Ron wants to be a Pokemon trainer, as does Ginny, but again, she's too young, so that's not going to happen for a good chunk of time. But Hermione, while she will be getting her starter at the same time as Ron and Harry, she will instead, she's instead the research assistant of the local professor. The local professor is Newt Scamander, because we thought that was too appropriate to pass up.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, so they all go in, they get their first starters, they leave town, and we're going to keep it vague, and we're not going to talk about who has what Pokemon with any of the characters we're going to discuss, because we did that in the previous episodes, and you know, we're kind of treating this like an actual game plot, and with a lot of those, the Pokemon are different for each playthrough depending upon specific choices that are made. So we're going to leave it vague to just keep it in line with that.
Mm-hmm. Right, so Professor Scamander, like any professor in Pokemon, each of them is studying something
A
different.
specific field.
A specific
Typically,
field.
they all study some specific field. You know, mega evolution, hatching, stuff like that. They all have a field that they specialize in. So Newt Scamander's he studies the difference in Pokemon based on whether they were wild or trained. Like, let's say you catch a Pidgey at level 5. You train it up into a Pidgeotto, and then you take a same level Pidgeotto from the wild. And you examine the differences. Is one stronger and one weaker? Temperament, all that stuff. So that's what he studies.
So anyway, once Harry, Ron, and Hermione, they have their starters. Harry begins his journey.
He's the player character, obviously.
He goes to the first town, and there's no gym battles or anything really major in the first town. Usually you just get some trainer tips and
Experience.
and you move on.
Battle wild Pokemon and you might catch one.
Mm-hmm. So you go to the next town, and that's where the first gym leader is.
Mm-hmm.
And the first gym leader in this case is Pomona Sprout.
His grass types are typically one of the first ones you hit. So you have your gym battle with her. Obviously you're gonna win because you saved before you go in there and you turned it off if you happen to lose and just do it again. That is what we all do. So then you go to the next town after you beat Professor Sprout in her gym battle. Well, there's nothing big in this town, but because a lot of the games now let you be in charge of the appearance of your character, to further this along, the next town has the hair salon and the first clothing store. So you can change your clothes and you can alter your hair. You know, change the cut, change the color, whatever it is that you want.
So after that, you move on to the next town, and as you arrive there, you run into Ron and Hermione. Hermione is there because Professor Scamander sent her on a
Some
job.
errand.
And she notices your Pokemon are a little weak because you've been training and you had a gym battle, so she offers to heal them for you.
So first, after that, Ron challenges you to your first rival battle. I know this is a bit late, usually it's right after you get them, but we wanted to shake things up a bit.
Mm-hmm.
So after that happens, Hermione scolds you guys for being...
Irresponsible.
Yeah, and then she heals you again because she's like, I'm not letting you undo my hard work.
And then right after that, guess who we meet?
Another rival. This time it's Draco Malfoy. He comes onto the scene, mocks you guys for your pathetic battle, and then challenges you because you were the winner.
Mm-hmm. And you defeat him, he taunts you,
Leaves.
and leaves. Anyway, so in this town, you're on to your next gym battle, and the gym leader in this town is Phileas Flitwick. So you defeat him, you win, you move along.
It's rather straightforward.
Mm-hmm.
So while you're in the town and before you actually go to face the gym leader,
Mm-hmm.
you hear some of the people in town talking about Team Death Eater, what their goals are, because we need to know what they are.
Mm-hmm.
So you learn that their aim is only people of nobility should be able to have Pokemon. And there's even a rumor going around that they're looking for ways to steal Pokemon from the PC.
Because if
And
they get you, then they won't just try and steal one Pokemon from you.
Not like,
Not like Team Rocket trying to steal Pikachu from Ash in...
or in the game,
The anime.
in Unova, where we had the whole Pokemon shouldn't be in Pokeballs ever thing going on. But they would only steal like one Pokemon at a time from people. So in this, they'll take all the Pokemon in your party, which is terrible. So yeah. So this is how you're introduced to the evil team.
Mm-hmm. And after you defeat Flitwick, you're en route to the next town. You actually run into some Team Death Eater grunts, and you have a battle with them, and you win.
Obviously, because they're just grunts.
Mm-hmm.
So the next town, you get there, and this is Snape's gym battle.
Mm-hmm.
So you go, you challenge him, you defeat him, you move on. Pretty straightforward.
Mm-hmm. Now the next town's a little bit more interesting.
After this, things get more interesting.
After this, things do get more interesting. You're en route to the next town. And just for reference, the geography, everything up until now has been all forest and grassland and the occasional lake or river.
So that should help you figure out what Pokemon could potentially be in the area. And it lets you visualize things better, I think. So we're still in a forest, and you come across this huge stone tower, which is a library.
Yes.
So you go in to check it out because it's a giant library.
Mm-hmm.
Why is it in the middle of a forest? Things you need to know. So when you get there, you run into Hermione. It was obviously there because it's a huge library and she's Hermione. Makes sense.
And so she goes to check it out with you. You have an encounter with some Team Death Eater grunts again. And you find out what they were after in the library.
It's a diary. This black diary. You don't know why they want it, but since they were so keen to get it, and the librarian there tells you it's not actually one of their books, you keep it. And during this whole adventure in the library, Hermione is with you, and you get double battles together fighting the grunts. So you get to familiarize yourself with her party then, and it's all great fun.
Mm-hmm.
So you leave the library and you continue on your way.
And you make it to the next town.
So this is a long route, or long several routes, whichever, it doesn't really matter. So before you get near the next town, you do run into another Pokemon Center, so you can heal up because your Pokemon are probably pretty weak by now.
Mm-hmm. And when you get to the town, you have another encounter with some Team Death Eater grunts.
They're not happy.
Mm-mm. 'Cause you have the diary.
And they wanted it, or at least their coworkers, for lack of a better term, wanted it. You can never tell if it's the same grunts or not. They look alike.
Mm-hmm. But you defeat them, and Slughorn, who is the gym leader of this town, congratulates you.
And says, he's looking forward to you coming to his gym to challenge him. But there's other things you can do before that.
Mm-hmm.
So he does recommend that you check out the contest hall because his town, city, whatever, has one.
Mm-hmm.
So you go.
You do just
and
that.
While you're there, you meet two familiar faces. The first is Luna Lovegood,
who wants to be a
coordinator,
but she's too young.
Yeah, like Jenny, she's too young, so she doesn't have her first Pokemon yet. But she's still interested in being a coordinator, so she hangs out in the contest hall to watch. And you also meet Neville Longbottom, who is another one of your neighbors, but he was the boy who had already left.
And Neville wants to be a Pokemon breeder.
So his dream, which he tells you about, is he very much wants to start a daycare center because unlike a lot of other regions, this one, the Harry Potter World region, does not have one.
Mm-hmm.
So that's his little dream.
So Luna gives you some advice on contests and
this is how you do it. You should give it a shot. And Neville, to further prove his friendliness, gives you this special pass. And so, in a few of the games, like all the ones taking place in Sinnoh, and in Alpha Sapphire and Omega Ruby, the contests you dress up for. Now, I can't say for any other fans who play the games, but in the outfit that they give May in Alpha Sapphire and Omega Ruby, I did not like. It was pink and sparkly and way too girly for me. So to avoid that, and because I recognize I didn't like it, but I know many other people did, this pass lets you see a new section of clothing in all of the clothing stores. There's some you wear for just, aesthetics when you walk around,
mm-hmm.
and some you can buy specifically for contests. So there's a lot less of those in number, and they're a lot cheaper because you're not really going to get to wear them too much. But if you have the pass, any clothing store will let you have access to their contest outfits, which you're in luck for because there is a clothing store in this town. So you can go and do that and buy up your outfit. Although he probably gives you one for free in case you don't really care.
Mm-hmm.
And you can now try contests if you want. So you can do that, or you can go challenge Slughorn, win, and move on.
So
after that, you leave and start traveling down the routes again.
Hit another Pokemon Center because your Pokemon got a heal.
Yes, and maybe you've caught some, so you want to switch out your party. Whatever, buy items, whatever you need to do. So then you continue on your merry way.
And right as you arrive at the next town, you run into Ron again, only this time he is arguing with two older boys who
turn out to be Fred and George. Ron wants to do something, and they're like, you can't do it without a partner. And then they just depart. Ron sees you, and he's like, I need a favor. In the Battle Dome, because the town you're currently in has the Battle Dome. He's like, there's a double battle tournament going on, but you need a partner to enter. Please enter with me. So you're like, okay.
Yep, and then
He's like, okay, so when you're ready to go, meet me in front of the Battle Dome. So he runs off. You have the option to go train some more, to buy items, to kill your Pokemon, to switch out your party, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
So once you do, you go. You meet up with Ron. Draco shows up again, gives you some taunts.
But he doesn't battle you this time.
No, he goes in to watch so he can make fun of you later.
Mm-hmm.
So you go in with Ron, you do a few double battles. Mostly, it's nondescript trainers like, Ace Trainer, whoever, and Swimmer, whoever, and just, pairs of them. A couple of times, though, you will fight some Team Death Eater grunts. And they're pissed when you beat them.
Mm-hmm.
Like, very pissed. And then you get to the final round where it's you and Ron against Fred and George. You battle, and obviously you're going to win because you're the player character. That's how it goes. So there are two prizes. There's a medal and some weird ring. So Ron's like, can I please have the medal? And you're like, okay. So he gets the medal, and you get the ring. After that, you enter the next town, and you meet Tonks, the gym leader. She's probably doing something clumsy, because she does that a lot in the books.
Mm-hmm.
And she's excited for you to come challenge her in the gym, so you go do that, you battle, you win, you move on to the next town.
Now, while you're en route to this town, and let's just say you're getting more into like a mountainous area, you come across Team Death Eater again. And this time you find one of their bases.
Lucky you.
So, you have to go through, battle more of their grunts, and this time you actually have to face one of Team Death Eater's lieutenants.
Yeah, so you get through the whole building, yeah, it's a giant building.
Mm-hmm.
And in the office, although I'm pretty sure given, we know who he is, it's not actually his office, he's just in there, is Peter Pettigrew.
Mm-hmm.
So you fight him, and you win, and he runs away because he's a coward.
Yep.
And then you have full reign of his office, or someone's office. So you find when you look at the computer that they're looking for objects because they're supposed to help you control something.
Mm-hmm.
It's very vague about what the something is, though. You also find 2 items. One is a Mega Evolution Ring.
Mm-hmm. The other is a locket.
So you take it because you're a thief. Like all the other Pokemon protagonists. So you leave, and as you're traveling, you run into Hermione, who has been looking for you. So you fill her in on what you just did. She's shocked, obviously, and she's going to go tell the professor, but it's actually kind of fortuitous what you did because Professor Scamander found a Mega Stone for your starter Pokemon. He didn't have a ring, but he figured if you had the stone and you eventually came across a ring, you'd be all set. So now you can Mega Evolve whatever your starter is.
So she gives you that, she leaves, you move on, and further down the path, you run into Dumbledore. And he just thanks you for your help with defeating one of the lieutenants of Team Death Eater, and then he's on his merry
and
way.
Effectively destroying one of their bases.
Yeah. And then you're on your merry way.
Yep, so you get into town, and this is where Hagrid has his gym. So you go in there, you battle him, you win, you leave. And given it's Hagrid, if there's a Safari Zone or something similar in this region, it's probably nearby. That seems like something you'd love.
Mm-hmm. Anyway, so you're making your way toward the next town. You're en route, and let's just say we're still in a very mountainous zone, and you come across another Team Death Eater base. And what's your...
Apparently they like mountains.
Apparently. So when you enter this one, what you find here is actually a lot more interesting. We're doing something a lot more interesting here. So you find out that what they are trying to take control of is a Zygrade.
So when you get into the base, what you discover after fighting some grunts and then getting into like this room that lets you look into this tunneled out area, they have a Zygrade in its 50% form, so it looks like the giant snake instead of the dog or the giant. So they're trying to use those items that they've been trying to procure and that you have some of.
In this case, it's a cup and a diadem.
Yeah, that's what they have in the room, because you stole...
The locket, the ring, and the...
Well, you didn't steal the ring.
Well, you won the ring.
ring. And I'm not sure if you actually stole the diary, because they were trying to take it, and it wasn't actually theirs yet. But
All right.
whatever. You at least stole the locket, and you obtained the diary and the ring before they could. So you prevented them from actually taking control of the thing because the 2 items they actually had were not enough. So near the room, like through like I guess security cameras, you get your first glimpse of Voldemort.
Mhm.
And he's demanding to know why they don't have control of Zygrade yet because it's not letting anyone close enough to catch it. It keeps tunneling away. It's taunting him. He does not like that.
Mm-mm.
And they're like, we can't do it yet. There's this kid. He keeps taking all the items. We can't contain him until we get all the items. And he's pissed off because a 12-year-old child is messing with their plans. That does not actually happen in real life.
It doesn't.
So he's all pissed. So then the feed cuts out, and since you're in the control room, you open up the doors to let Zygrade out. And Zygrade's not stupid.
Zygrade is going to escape.
Yeah, so it flees.
Mhm.
And then you leave the room and grunts are running around freaking out everywhere because Voldemort's gonna kill them all for this, and no one wants that.
No.
So you battle some more grunts, and Voldemort's apparently left already.
So
No one's gonna die.
yeah.
But you do face 2 lieutenants. Bellatrix Lestrange, and Lucius Malfoy. So you fight them, you win, and then you flee the base because after smashing the thing that they were using to try to control Zygrade.
So yeah, you
So
caused
yes,
some more chaos.
Yes.
But right after you do damage to this base,
And you flee. Because it would not be smart to stick around.
guess who you run into again?
If you guess Draco, you are correct.
And this time, he's very, very pissed because you ruined the place where his father was working.
So he's not pleased. You battle, you win, and when he leaves, he seems less angry and more contemplative, but he still leaves
Mm-hmm.
in a huff.
Yep. And then you have to continue on your way to the next town. Now, when you're traveling to this one, you actually have to go through a cave because the road that you can normally take to this town, it's closed for construction reasons, so the only way there is through this underground cave system.
And before you go into the cave, there is a nearby Pokemon Center, so you can heal up because you probably desperately need it by now.
Mm-hmm.
There are also several places to heal in the base, so that makes it easier.
So this cave is actually right underneath a volcano,
So it's very warm, and there are the occasional lava pools.
Mhm.
This is a good place to get fire types.
But while you're going through this cave, you encounter the escaped Zygrade.
And I suppose it likes you more than it liked Team Death Eater.
Well, you did help it escape.
Yes. So it actually lets you approach it to battle, which gives you the opportunity to catch it. So huzzah! This is the game mascot
Mm-hmm.
and the legendary you get.
Yep.
We
Huzzah.
thought the snake, we thought, because it's a snake a bunch of the time, it'd be a good fit.
Mm-hmm.
Because Harry and Voldemort could talk to snakes.
Yes. It seemed only fitting.
Yes.
So, you get Zygrade. You are making your way to the next town, and when you get there, you face the next gym leader, who happens to be Lupin. You defeat Lupin, you continue on the route, and while you're on the route, you find...
Yeah, while you're moving to the next town, you stumble upon the final Death Eater base. Because remember, their whole plan was not just taking Zygrade. It was also stealing Pokemon from everyone and somehow getting into the PC and stealing Pokemon from there. And Voldemort, you haven't even really met yet. He just knows that you're messing with his plan, which he does not like.
Now, before you approach this final base, you actually run into Draco one more time, but this time it's not to battle you or to taunt you.
He's just like, you've set back their plans, who knows how much, but a lot. Don't go in there. It's dangerous and something permanent could happen. Just don't. Obviously, you go in anyway, but he did try to help you in an odd way.
Only this time, when you go in, you're not in there alone.
No, you're closely followed by Ron, Hermione, Fred and George, and surprisingly Neville. They all want to help you. Because, like, we didn't really add this, but you've probably seen them in non-battling situations throughout the story. But if we said it every time it happened, it would just get monotonous. So, what we're going to do in this is, as you go through the base, you have one of them with you for a few rooms or floors or what have you.
In some cases, you'll just be battling more Team Death Eater grunts, and you do face all of the lieutenants one more time.
Yes, so through that, you either have Ron, Hermione, or Neville with you by themselves, but for one section of it, you have both Fred and George with you, so you get to do some triple battles, which you haven't really gotten to do yet. So you move along, and then, like we said, you fight lots of grunts, and then you fight the 3 lieutenants one more time apiece. And at the end, you by yourself
must go and face Voldemort.
So you battle, you win, and
his plans are foiled.
Yeah, you destroy whatever they were going to use, and I don't know if you blow up the base or not. That seems appropriate, but I like explosions, so that just might be a neat thing.
Wouldn't favor too well with Draco. You don't want to kill his father.
No, I didn't even think about that aspect. They're killing the people in there, just the building.
Don't do that after he just tried to help you.
I guess. Fun, I like the fire. Hence my name.
Yes, but let's not get on Draco's bad side after he tried to help you. So, you've defeated Team Death Eater.
Huzzah, you get congratulated by Dumbledore again.
Move on to the final town, where you will have your final gym battle, and this one is on the coast, and here you face Minerva McGonagall.
She is the 8th and final gym leader.
And once you defeat her, you can finally go to Victory Road and battle with the Elite Four.
Well, no, you do the Victory Road, and then you can battle the Elite Four. The Elite Four are not on Victory Road.
Oh, okay, sorry.
It's fine. The first Elite Four member that you take on is Bill Weasley. After him, Sirius Black, then Kingsley Shacklebolt, and then Alistair Moody. Once you defeat them, you may fight Dumbledore the champion. And obviously you're going to win because, again, you're the protagonist of the game. You're going to play as many times as it takes to win. So then we got the post-game.
We weren't sure what to do.
We looked up what other games had did just to remind us, and I think we came up with an interesting idea. So the post-game is there's a little island off the coast of some part of the continent. Doesn't really matter where. So Newt Scamander has decided that this will be like a mini gym challenge to give younger trainers a chance to try. Or even people who aren't that interested in doing the gym challenge, like maybe coordinators, who want to give at least a small dose of it a shot. So what it is we've currently named it the Battle Island because we could not think of a better name. I'm sorry, it's not very good.
Yes, sorry.
So there will be 5 kind of gym leaders, I guess. 5 strongish trainers
Mhm.
And when you fight them, you have some kind of handicap that they don't,
Mhm.
just to spice things up. So the people chosen, and we'll tell you the order later, are the Weasley twins, Ron, Hermione, and Neville.
Mhm.
So you, because you're the champion, so you're gonna help out. Plus Ginny and Luna, who are now old enough to have Pokemon, are going to try it.
Oh, and Draco's there too.
Yes, Draco was there too. He gets invited along, and the idea is, as an added incentive for you, if you feel like it, once you defeat Battle Island, you are then allowed to challenge all the gym leaders again, because they've all gone up in levels.
Mhm.
So the first person you challenge, and like they'll say in game, this isn't the permanent setup. They just have these trainers as placeholders for now. The first person you face is Hermione Granger. So the handicap you're given is during the battle, you cannot use items. She can,
But you
but
can't.
you can't. No potions, no paralyze heal, no nothing.
Mhm.
Next up is Fred Weasley, and with him, you can only have your Pokemon use physical attacks. No special attacks, just physical. He can use whatever attacks he wants.
Mhm. Which would be interesting because who knows how effective only using something like tackle would be.
Yeah, well, it's not just tackle. It's a lot stronger move. So after that is George Weasley. With him, you can only use special attacks. He can use any attack he wants,
Mhm.
just to remind you. The fourth is Ron Weasley. With him, you can't switch out your Pokemon.
So if your Pokemon's health is running low and you want to switch, you can't do that. Either
You can't switch unless
your
you
Pokemon
defeated his Pokemon and
Or-
it's fainted, so you can switch before he sends out a new one. Or obviously if your Pokemon faints.
Mhm.
And just a reminder, on this island, which has several different terrains.
So the terrain of this island, by the way, is a desert island.
Yeah, so there's lots of sand dunes and
It's very hot.
yeah, so and you can catch Pokemon there, and there are several places where you can heal, and interspaced with you traveling, you do see Ginny, Luna, and Draco in a couple of spots, and you do have the option to battle them.
Mhm.
So then you get to the final battle, which is Neville.
And you don't have any handicaps this time.
You two can just wail on each other. So Luna bows out because she's not so into all the battling and she's had enough fun.
Mhm.
So Ginny and Neville take on you and Draco in a double battle. And that's how that ends.
Mhm. And once that's done, you have the option to fight all the gym leaders again.
Mm-hmm. So that's the game story we made up for our Harry Potter Pokemon universe. We worked very hard on that.
Believe us, it was not easy.
No, and you can imagine that there are all sorts of other terrains we never got around to mention, like there's an ice cavern here, or a desert there, or anything else. 'Cause
I give her a lot of the credit because she actually plays a lot of the games.
I do.
Honestly, I played Yellow when I was younger and then never played another Pokemon game again.
And then I kept it up. I still play it today. It's fun.
But I
So-
still love Pokemon,
Oh,
so.
yeah. So we hope you enjoyed the videos for this month. Next month we will go back to the normal picking a TV show, movie, book, what have you, and focusing on characters again.
Mhm.
But we thought this would be a fun change of pace.
So we hope you guys enjoyed it. Please let us know down below in the comments what you think. And give us a like and a subscribe. And you can follow us on social media. We're on Twitter, Tumblr, and Instagram. It's all the same as the channel name, Fire Dragon and Water Fairy.
So we should be easy to find. So we'll see you next time. I hope you guys are having a great summer, and have a nice day.
Bye.